Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ramsey, and in this episode, we're going to do a continuation of what we did last time, which was trying to automate a basic client onboarding flow. And the cool thing is that I was just winging it through. So you guys can walk through it with me and see what the process of building an automation, especially when you have no idea what you're doing half the time, is like. I haven't touched this since we did it in the last video, but I have been exploring some things. So this pipeline stuff was pretty interesting because I remember we had to create the OG lead status. By the way, you can watch that video. The link is going to be somewhere. Um, and just get to catch up on what we did. But towards the end, we had some problem having the lead status update because we didn't have like a closed thing here. So there's pre-qualified, blah, blah, lost lead, etc. But we didn't have anything for being closed, and that's why we went here. And now we're using that to update the pipeline stage. And I was just checking and I was like, probably right now we're using the lead to closed pipeline thing. And maybe if we edit this, you can actually just clone it. You can't edit it. But so let's see, there's closed won and closed lost. So if you, I don't know, maybe try to add this. I was hoping maybe we could edit this and then that would tell us whether or not a client the client is closed, but I'm still not seeing anything here. Let me see. So we're back to basically groping around in the dark. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. And we were talking about the stages. And I see you can even set it as default here. We're talking about the stages and we were looking at the deal categories. And I remember I was wondering if there's a way to map this deal category back to the lead status right here, because you can see, no, not LinkedIn profile, sorry. You can see that there's nothing there. Maybe if we go to the modules and fields. So how we get here again is you just go to settings in your Zoho CRM. So if I just click this, and let's say I'm in the home page, you just click on this gear icon here in the top right. I went through this stuff in the other video. And then I go to customization, modules and fields, and leads. And then standard. That's the only layout I have at the moment. And look at this lead status stuff. Maybe I can edit the properties. And here you have these things. So what's the default value? What's the lead status? Maybe if I click on this. Oh, view, add unused values, add predefined choices. Okay, so if you go to the pick list properties, you can actually add whatever you want. So attempted to contact leaves the deal as open, contacted in future, etc. Maybe we can have like invoice paid as something, and then that makes it closed, or contract signed. Contract signed sounds really good. So if we go to view, what do you mean all options are in use? Okay, so let's go back to the gear icon and just add predefined choices. Import predefined choices. Days of the week, months of the year. What the actual hell? Bulk options. I don't know. Invoice sent. I'm literally just trying out stuff at this point. Ooh, there it is. Oh, that's pretty cool. But like, oh, wait. Okay, so what I did was cool, but also it doesn't work with stages, and I'm just gonna remove it. But also, if you just come here, I feel so dumb now that I'm realizing it. You can press this plus button and you get another option down here. And maybe you can say here that contract signed. Okay, this is gonna be really cool. But then I can't change these, can I? Like open, not qualified, junk. I guess when it's closed, it just becomes an account, you know? It seems that that's Zoho Flow's way of doing things. And that's the final stage, isn't it? When it finally becomes an account. Speaking of, if I look at under my accounts, will I find Frodo Baggins? Maybe the thing, the idea is to convert it into an account when a lead signs something, right? And I know this isn't making any sense, but there's this thing where like when you have a lead here, right? And we have this OG lead status thing, but when you have a lead here, you can click on convert, which just converts it into a client. So you can add to an existing contact or you can create a new contact. So you can add to an existing contact. Oh yeah, sorry. So it won't do that because of my duplicate email when I signed up the lead. But yeah, I'm just going to add it to my existing contact name and let's see what happens. It's like you create a new deal for this account. So the deal is what eventually makes it closed, isn't it? Right? So then you can overwrite the account name with the lead's company name. I mean, you don't have to do that, but okay, let's just see. And then the amount and the pipeline is lead to close. This is where you basically pick the closed one. That's where the pipeline stage ends. And then the contact role and a bunch of other source and a campaign source. Oh yeah, this makes so much sense now. Which, you know what that means? That means that when we come to this, like, if we come to the workflow rules here under customization, is it automation workflow rules? We could edit what we currently have here so that the rule will be executed. I guess I should deactivate it before I edit it. I'm not sure. Right? Why aren't I able? Okay, so apparently I can't choose that first trigger now. Edit specific field, OG lead status, modify to, I don't know if this is a record action, but like, let's just, discard those changes and try and create a new rule and see if we can validate our idea. So we're going to the leads module and the rule name is client onboarding trigger second try. And the description is, this is the second try of the client onboarding trigger, right? And then what are we going to do next? So let's say it's a record action. I am going to say it's a record action. Oh shit. I just realized something. Okay, so let's create the rule again. I think it should go to deals, right? It's either deals or accounts because you're closing. And then now it's the client onboarding trigger. Let me just assume it's deals. It could be accounts as well because you're creating an account, but like, okay. So second try. And this is the second try. I know I'm wasting so much time writing this useless description, but it really helps because I try to think while I'm doing the stupid stuff about where to go next. Seeing as I'm winging a lot of this, so when a deal is created, okay, deals matching certain conditions, all deals, Okay. And then what do we want to do? Any deal is created, we want to call a webhook because that's when we know the client is closed. So we're kind of back to where we were. But now there's something else I want to look at here. Like, okay, so we're creating a deal and that's fantastic. But what are the features of a deal? Does the deal come with the associated, let me try and create it and just see what kind of, do you get the deal owner? Okay. Do you get the deal name? The account name. Okay. So you can get the account name and a bunch of other things. And the pipeline stage is, okay, yeah, lead to closed. Right. The probability, a whole bunch of stuff. I guess the deals are what track the pipeline. With a lot of this stuff, it seems to be insider knowledge. Like you just need to understand CRMs really deeply to understand what a lead, a deal, an account, and a contact are. And I tried to explain some of it last time based off of what I understood, but I didn't know everything. So basically, I think we're going to infer what should be entertain automation second try. Second try. What information can be inferred from like the deal based on like the merge fields that we could add later on. But yeah, let's say that we are getting, because we still have this webhook right here, right, that we made last time from NA10, and we're just going to have that webhook as a URL to notify. And then of course we're going to add a body. Let's make it raw like we did last time. Though I'm also curious, like, is there a way to do form data? Should this webhook be configured to expect certain form data, like field name or binary data, etc., raw body, blah, blah. Anyway, let's just say we're going to try form data out because I like to experiment. And let's see, so the parameter name, parameter type, so deal name or account name, deal account. Is there a deal account? I don't see a deal account. Pipeline reason for loss, deal ID, deal name, deal ID. That means I might need to find a way to connect each deal ID to its related lead, email, all of that stuff. You know, I'm wondering if I'm overcomplicating things here. Because ideally, I want it to be an account where I can get things like the email and stuff from the account. You know, there's an email here, right? Website, account number. Yeah, it seems to me that there's quite some stuff to be done. Let's go on a tangent. Let's look at accounts in the modules and fields, and let's look at the standard layout and see what kind of information we get. I see we're not getting any emails here. We have an account owner, an account name, account number, phone, no email. So what we really want here is we want an email when an account is created. And we actually want to do a thing where we just try and convert a particular thing into an account just to see how it works. And let's just call this account email, office email. So that's just a custom field I added. I just pulled this in and got that done. And that's going to be an email. And we could even make it required. I'm just not going to do that, but we could do that as well, just so we always have an email in there. But anyway, given that, if I come here and I just cancel this, yes, leave page. Please, just leave that page. Let's come here and convert this guy, right? So, whatever. Let me actually just change some stuff about Frodo Baggins. So I'm going to change his email address right away so that there's no duplicate to Frodo at middleearthisp.com. And we're just gonna save that. And then now we're gonna try and see if we can do a conversion. Yes. So when you do have something that's not a duplicate, it says you can create a new account and you can create a new contact, right? And you can create a new deal for this account. So I just looked down that deal rabbit hole and it is long. So if I can avoid it, I will until I learn more about it. But let's just say that we're not creating a new deal. And then we just do this conversion. And now you should have an account. So what we really want in our workflow rule here. So this is, where are you? The settings, just go to settings and just leave that and just go to automation and workflow rules. And I'm just going to try and create a new rule now. And the idea is we're going to the accounts and the rule name is client onboarding. Third try. This is like the third time I'm doing this. Third time I'm doing this. And then let's see. So now when a record action is created, it's all accounts. What do we want to do? We want to do a webhook call. And now we've got something. So NA10 client onboarding trigger, just trying to be a bit serious, right? All that trial stuff. This is the third try though, TBH. Anyway, we need that webhook and we're going to come here and paste it. And then we're going to try and have a body. I like this form data idea just to try it out, but like, okay, let's add some module parameters. What field are we looking at? Is there an email now? Please tell me there's an email now. Office email. And the parameter name is account email. And I guess we could also add account ID in case we need it later on. And now we can just save and associate. And now if we go back to Frodo Baggins, I don't know if it's possible to just like undo a conversion. Is it possible? No, it's not. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to come here to leads and create a lead to test this. And we're going to call this lead Samwise Gamgee. And the company is the Gaffers. Then, I don't know, whatever Samwise Gamgee's fault. What's a gaffer? Samwise Gamgee is this character from the Lord of the Rings. Okay, what's a gaffer in LOTR? I'm so sorry, I just need to go on this tangent. The gaffer. The term gaffer is a British colloquialism meaning an older man, a boss, or a foreman, which fits his role as the head gardener of Bag End and Sam's mentor. Sam often refers to his father with this term as a sign. Okay, so it's like a head gardener. So the gaffer's garden, the gaffer's sanctuary. It's a gardening company. Okay, so email Samwise at middleearthisp.com. We don't need a lead status anymore or an OG lead status. I should probably go delete that stuff, the OG lead status thing. But like, let's save this. And save. Oh, forgot lead source. This happened last time too. So save and boom. We have the thing. Okay. So I'm gonna save this workflow as well. and we have it as activated, right? So now the idea is we're going to have this listening, and then we're going to come here and we're going to convert Mr. Samwise Gamgee not into a ring wraith, but into an account. Now, the moment of truth, convert. Okay. Woo! And the workflow worked, except the email never came. I know why it never came. Oh my God. It's because I didn't enter the email. So emails. No? Office email. I never entered any office email. But there's a contact in the email name. Maybe the idea is that you're supposed to get the contact. You know, like you're supposed to grab the account and then get the contact for that account. Is there a possibility of just like editing this? You know, like right here, so it's like account ID, account owner, account name, etc. You're supposed to get the contact for that account and then find a way to get the ID from there. But I'm gonna go for a simple thing. You know, I'm just going to update the office email. At least I have the account ID, I believe. So I can always grab the office email later. But anyway, in this case, it didn't show the office email because I never entered the office email. In this case, because it did create the new email, it's samwise@middleearthisp.com. Samwise, maybe in a more sophisticated workflow, you'd just be doing this like chaining it. So you grab, because like in the workflow, you get the account ID. You take that account ID, and I'm sure there's a way to query like related accounts or like related records, so the contacts associated with that account, etc. If you're an API call to Zoho and stuff, middleearthisp.com. Anyway, so that's what I would do. And you can actually delete this if you want. But what I'm going to do here, because you can do that in NA10, is you can just like change this thing. And edit and just have that email right here. So like this right here, right? So samwise@middleearthisp.com. And you can save that and then you can just pin it. And you should have everything you need now. Oh, wait, didn't you save? Right? samwise@middleearthisp.com. Save. And yeah, now it shows up. Now we can move on to the next step. What was that? Let's see. So we're supposed to then send an instant welcome email with the pleasantries, a form link, plus a calendar link. Okay, let's try and do that. So maybe we'd use a Gmail trigger here. And I know we need to think through this, like what the actual steps are, but let's just put some of the stuff, like some of the scaffolding in place. So of course there's the credential stuff, you know, I always talk about how to connect credentials. You can watch some of my previous videos. I always leave like a link in the description of where you can get like information on how to connect credentials. Maybe I'll do that for this video as well. So I'm just gonna send it to myself because there is no Samwise at middleearthisp.com. It should be Middle Earth ESP actually, but anyway. Welcome, dear client. I know the copy should be much better, but bear with me here. And it's like, welcome aboard. And maybe here we should be using expressions because we'll put in variables a bit later. I don't know. We specialize in doing automations for Middle Earth's, like Middle Earth with a hyphen, Middle Earth's diverse and beautiful. Why did I have diverse capitalized? Diverse and beautiful population. To start, please fill in this form to give us some much needed info. And then the form would go there. Also, you can book your first call with us here. And we need a calendar link. So where are we getting the calendar link? And what are we going to do with the form? Okay. So, I mean, now we kind of have to think what this form link would be about. So let's say we are saving this stuff to the CRM again, right? That will be for the form link, because the way I'm envisioning it. So, okay, so let's try and think this through. So we're doing this form link stuff. So I'm just going to try and break down this problem a bit, and hopefully we can make some sense of it. But okay, so let's say they're filling in a kind of client profile for starters, right? So maybe I don't want that. Yeah, so maybe type of automation needed. I mean, I know this stuff would not be necessary in a form, but I need to fill it with something. Or description of problem. Description of problem or slash needs. And then here we're gonna have like credentials slash logins. Maybe that's all we need from the client, right? And then beyond that, right, we're gonna have something else. We're gonna have calendar link. So, oh, sorry. I just rushed ahead of myself. That will come in a bit. But so what we're gonna have is, I would say NA10 form gets filled, and then that NA10 form updates account fields, right? And then immediately it updates the account fields. It would also so do some other stuff. Okay, so it updates account fields. Let's just say that for now. So that will be for the whatchamacallit, the form link. And then for the other stuff, so the calendar, it's basically calendar. I guess we would start by grab calendar link, maybe special booking link, and then link, add link to email. Okay. So I think that bit covers that automation a little well. And we have like welcome email 2 and welcome email 3 reminder, which may tie back to how much of this information we got, right? And then we have the Slack stuff later. Okay, so let's just have the form and kind of go through it organically, because it's gonna get a bit interesting, Okay, so I'm gonna try and create a new workflow and open the link in a new tab. So I've been told to maintain eye contact occasionally, because I'm really bad at that. But okay, so we're going to call this the intake form. Let's call it the intake form, right? And so we want this intake form flow to have the form that gets added, right? So let's say it has a form trigger somewhere. And so I just went and picked the form on form submission, and we're going to say that it has no authentication, though ideally it should. We're just building a prototype here. We're fooling around. Um, so yeah, intake form for form title. And then we're going to say here, enter some really important info below. And we're going to add some form elements. So we'll be here saying something like, briefly describe your automation needs. Okay, that just sounds like something that you would do if you're getting like a bonus, like a consultation, initial consult. Could you please describe the exact kind of thing you need automated? Add as much info as possible. Okay, and so wait a minute, that's the field name. So, problem description, and the placeholder can be that, right? Um, it'll probably be clipped out, but anyway. So it's gonna be text. Maybe we can make it a text area, just so you can write as much as you want, and make it a required field, and then add here is like something else. I don't know. Passwords, credentials. You shouldn't be giving out these in a form. I don't know. Or maybe you should. But like, no, I don't know what the implications are security wise. But probably with HTTPS, it's not a problem. You just may need to do some extra authentication stuff and whatever, just to make sure that credential information being sent over is safe, which we could figure out. But again, we're just building a prototype. We want this to grow organically, so it'll get more complex over time. Don't worry if you want complexity. Text area. So we'll be like, dump all your creds here. And the more you think about this, the more you build this out, the better you can think of it. For example, you can have here like Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, some other random platform as individual fields. But let's just have this. This way, it's easy to even track what they may have forgotten to add, what they may not have immediately. But yeah, so that's just like our form, right? And if we like test it here sometime this year, why isn't it testing? I have a feeling just because I didn't save the workflow, we're gonna have a problem here. Okay, so there seems to be a problem with my Wi-Fi. Did you open that door? I think it's probably the repeater. Yeah, the door is blocking the Wi-Fi signal. Third world problems. And guess what? My beautiful form is not there anymore because I didn't hit save. Okay, so let's try this again. Intake form and enter some important info below. And we're just going to add a form element. It's going to be a text area. And we're going to say, what is this? Problem description. And we're just going to say, give a detailed summary of what you want automated, as much detail as possible. I think sometimes it just changes to expression so I can have a better view of what's going on. And make it a required field, and then here it's going to be credentials, text area. So I'm just going to make it simple and then say dump all your creds below. Okay, here right? Make that a required field. Come here, hit save because I'm not doing this again, and then have the form get triggered. So yeah, so let's say with Samwise, like I want to automate my gardening. Um, you know, email is email@email.com. Maybe write the platform name as some platform. And then password is password, right? And then if you submit the form, so I hope it's still listening. It's not. Sometimes N10 does that for some weird reason. I'm just going to close this form and go back to the one that I have filled and hit submit. And there we go. And, we get some stuff, which is pretty cool. And what we want to do what we want to do after this is basically update account fields. Now this gets interesting. So what can we do? We may need to go check maybe the Zoho node in here, Zoho CRM may be able to help us do this. Can I update an account? Oh yeah, I can. Okay. I can update an account. That's interesting. So what I want is I would like some way to grab the account, right? So that I can do a call to Zoho to get the account ID. So this is what I'm thinking about, guys. Now we can kind of like make this even more detailed, right? NA10 form, and then we can now say that here it needs some hook to grab account data from Zoho CRM. And then what we're going to do after that is we are going to use hook to grab account data. And then we update the account. So what would our hook be? Well, I guess now if we go back, we can see that we have emails from the contacts and we also have this office email thing. So maybe we can use the office email to grab the thing. Alternatively, there's like other ways you could do it. So like if you're having the form sent out, you could add some kind of like query string to the form thing, and you'd use that to find the specific account. So what am I talking about? I'm saying like maybe we have Samwise, right? And an account gets created. And then we have this workflow here that onboards, so it calls this. So what you do maybe is you would have something here like let me see, like under the gaffer. So you would have something like maybe a unique code where we have the lead ID and all of that. Oh yeah, the lead ID. Oh, sorry, the account ID. Maybe there's a way we can use the account ID. Let's just have like a little thing here where we can let me try blank slate. So, it's better for typing than drawing out stuff. So I would just be like, use account ID. And right now what I have is when account created, webhook call goes out to NA10. So maybe we can pass account ID in webhook call, then NA10 uses that ID to encode email, and then to encode form link. That's one way. Like maybe you add you generate like a unique ID, then you add it to the form link. And then when they click on the form link and they submit, you get the form link, you grab the query string, the unique ID, right? and then you use that to find the client's account. That's one way. Another way would be to um, have the onboarding workflow call a sub workflow with the account ID. And then once you call the sub workflow with the account ID, the sub workflow uses that, or store it somewhere. You can store it somewhere, can't you? The sub workflow. Okay. Have the onboarding workflow save the account ID somewhere. Then the form can pick that somehow. Wow, this is getting interesting. So that's number 2. Number 3 would be just check the email of the person that submitted the form. I guess number 3 is the simplest, but it's a bit more prone to edge cases, because what if they like if you have like an email field in your form and they fill in the wrong email, what then? You can't do a search against Zoho. So it should be like a more foolproof way. Maybe it's time to do some research. Let's see. So we have something here. We have N810 environment variables. I'm just going to explore option number 2. So maybe this is option number 1. And then this is option number 2. And then this is option number 3. Right? So option number 2 seems interesting, because if we could save that data somehow, that would be great. Though I figure that even with option number 2, I mean, because the form is being submitted, you still need something like maybe a hidden field with the account ID. A hidden field. A hidden field. Okay. So there's an option number 4, right? And this is have the onboarding workflow call a sub workflow that sends the actual email. And that will automatically add a hidden field with the account ID in the form. So that's dynamic, right? So this is what I'm thinking. So instead of this, you have this, right? And then you come here, and this is going to be on form submission. But really, what we want is intake form. Okay, so let's just leave this, but create just like another sub workflow, right? And we're going to call this, so this is the onboarding flow. Maybe I'm just going to call it the onboarding trigger, but bear with me here for a moment, right? And then we have like this one, and then we call it email sender or whatever. And the idea behind this is that it gets executed by another workflow, right? So executed by another workflow. And what you expect from it, right, is for it to have some stuff coming in from here. So we have the account email and we have the account ID. We could also add the account name or whatever back in the workflow rules. But so it's going to expect an account ID and an account email, right? So let's have that account ID, which is a string, and then we have account email, which is a string too, I suppose. Okay, right? And then we're going to save that. And just here, just now, we are going to have this, right? And we're going to say that we need to execute an NA10 sub workflow, right? So we're going to execute a sub workflow, and we're going to pick email sender. No, I didn't want to open the workflow. I just wanted to pick it. And so you pull these from right here. Okay, so I need to change those to expressions, and you just like drag and drop. So that's what we're sending through. And then the account email is going to be right here, and we're going to send that through. And then run once with all items. I'm guessing that's fine. And then we're just going to execute that step. And it just ran. Now, if we come back to the email sender and look at the past executions, we're supposed to see this version that just ran, right? And the idea is to then create a form, generate a web form. Okay, I just hit a wall because it doesn't allow you to create an actual form. Page type, next form page. Well, let's try and go with this and see where it goes. So I want to see if I can have the option to add a hidden field here. Yes, I can make this a hidden field, and I can call this account ID, and then the field value will be the ID, right? And then we're just gonna try and see if we can reproduce some of this stuff here. So we were going to have the intake form, the problem description with that placeholder. So let's try that. That's problem description, and it's supposed to be a text area, I believe. And then we're just going to have that placeholder in there. And then we're going to have, so that's a required field. And then we're going to have, what is that, credentials. And it's going to be another text area. And then what are we going to do here? So let's see. We're supposed to then get the placeholder from this placeholder. Okay, so far so good. Let's make it required. What is this wait time stuff? Whether to limit the time this node should wait for a user response before execution resumes. Oh no, I see what this is about now. This is technically about creating a form that they should fill in. And so it doesn't really help. You know, I'm stuck again. So I mean we could try it, but like for example, if I execute the step, so I have this, and if I execute the step, form trigger node must be set before this. Now that's the thing, it requires a form trigger node. So we've just understood one of the limitations you can have with NA10. We can't have the feature to actually create a form dynamically and store that value somewhere. So option number 4 with the hidden field just might not work. So we need to think of something else. Okay, so anyway, I was looking at NA10, not environment variables, but just variables. Especially, custom variables. Is there a way we can do this? So custom variables are read-only variables you can use and store in NA10 workflows. So you can enter, select add variable, enter key and value. So this is to create like global variables. But can I use them in workflows? You can access variables in the code node and in expression. All variables are strings. Workflow execution replaces the variables with a variable value. If the variable has no value, NA10 treats its value as undefined. Variables are read-only. You must use a UI to change the values. If you need to set and access custom data within your workflow, use workflow static data. I think that's what we're looking for. So the get workflow static data type. Okay. Static data isn't available when testing workflows. The workflow must be active and called by a trigger or webhook to save static data. This feature may be unreliable under some high frequency workflow executions. So you can save data directly in the workflow. Um, this data should be small. As an example, you can save a timestamp of the last item processed. It goes to an object. So there are two types, global and node. Global side is the same in the whole workflow. Every node in the workflow can access it. The node side is required to the node. Okay, but can I use this across workflows? Now, this is where I would go directly to ChatGPT and I'd be like, hey, I'm looking into, okay, looking, looking into whether I can store variables in NA10 where I can set variables in one workflow and access them from a different workflow. What do you think? Meanwhile, while it's trying to generate an answer, we can kind of like look at these others. So the saving account ID some ways isn't just working very well. Then there's like the encryption thing. The encryption thing is pretty interesting. Okay, let's see what ChatGPT says. It's still thinking and searching. Right. Okay. So for now, let's just have the easy one. Though I'm sure we can explore some of these other methods. I actually like the encryption thing. It looks really good. But I don't know if I have enough time to try and do it right now. I mean, let me know if you guys want me to try and explore that one. Then in the next video, because this is like a long thing we're building, I can try and explore that particular option. But yeah, so just check the email of the person that submitted the form. Okay, so yeah, so in this case, the intake form would just be so. What we do is we just add an extra field here, right? We'd add a form element and we'd say email. And that one would just require, it would require email, enter your office email address or enter your email address. Hopefully, I mean, we know this can break because what if they enter a different email address? But that can be fixed. So for now, this would be good enough, right? And then we can just like get rid of this and try to execute it again. And now we need to enter email. So I'll just do samwise at middleearthisp.com. I'll just copy paste these. Oh shit. Okay, so I'm just gonna say some platform. Email is email@email.com and password is password. And then description, I need an automation for my gardening. Okay, are you still listening? Yeah, it's still listening. So submit and good. So now we get an email as well. So what I would do now is I would have Zoho CRM search. You know, now I can either get an account or get many accounts. But I don't have an account ID. That's the problem. I don't have an account ID. So I should be using the email somehow. This is where you do a Zoho CRM search. And this okay, so if we look at like Zoho CRM API, we should be able to like add an HTTP request that does the search for your API. So like, let's just see what the APIs show. Meanwhile, let's go check out this. Short answer, yes, but how depends on whether you want constants per workflow memory or a durable shared store. Here are the practical options. Wow, I love how official this thing can be sometimes. Define variables in the UI, then read them anyway using expressions like vars.api base. These are read only at runtime. Okay, so I'm changing these. Environment variables. Set it in Docker host n8n editor base URL, then read in expressions code via env.myvar. Now, previewing in the editor may show not found, but they resolve correctly at runtime. Okay, whatever that means. Workflow static data. Persists across runs, but only inside one workflow. Okay. From a code node, you can read write small. So I can't create execution or like site-wide variables dynamically within a workflow. So that's another feature request we should make for N810. Then there's share data at call time with sub workflows. Use execute sub workflow to call workflow B from workflow A and pass data in. That's what we tried with the form stuff, but we hit a dead end. This is great for a configure common lookup sub workflow, but it's not a persistent store by itself. No shit. Durable cross workflow state recommended for site in one, read in another. N810's team and community typically suggest using a data store you control for shared updatable state. Like Google Sheets, Redis. I mean, I know I could do that, but like maintaining a Google Sheet just for this is just crazy, right? Um, the pattern is straightforward. One workflow writes a key value, others read it. Community key value storage nodes like Telepilot Co, N810 nodes KV storage, or N810 nodes data store offer a quick in-memory key value store, helpful for short-lived values, but data is lost in restart and shouldn't hold secrets. The simple vector store node also uses global in-memory keys. It's non-persistent and accessible to all instance users, only used for non-sensitive dev use. What I do in practice? Okay, yeah, ChatGPT, tell us what you do. Pick a store, create a tiny settings API workflow with routes, blah, blah, read write the chosen store, protect it with an API key header. In any workflow that needs the variable, call the settings API using HTTP request, and then update via the same endpoint when workflow A needs to set/change a value. Okay. And then a quick choose static constants across all workflow. Remember something? Okay. Let's see. What about this key value storage node? I like this. Let's check it out. I guess N810's community nodes are in NPM. So NPM registry. I don't think this is where it is. Is it? Is this where it is? Yeah. Okay. Let's look at this. This is Telepilot Co. N810 community node that implements rudimentary key value storage, stored in memory. It is created for use cases when usage of database or Redis is not desired, and static data or code are not enough. KV storage putting values into buckets that we call scopes. Should be used with execution process main. Oh, no. My execution process is Q, right? Let me check it out. I can actually access my railway somewhere here. Anyway, next week we're gonna come here and we're actually gonna use ChatGPT, I think, just to speed up things, to help us do an API call to search via email in Zoho CRM so we can update the correct fields. Remember, we're still kind of working with this and we just need to do this last step. So we need to use the hook, which we've decided to settle on the email, to grab account data and then do the updating. Then we can look at calendar and we can continue building this stuff for as long as you guys want. But, also if you have ideas about other kinds of automations you'd like to explore, just building from scratch and winging it through, let me know. And if you have any workflows, SOPs that you need automated for your business, please feel free to reach out to me. Contacts below in the description. I would love to work with you. Otherwise, you have a great time and I will see you in the next episode.